So when we first get out here, it's gonna be quiet. And after we're here for a while, you're gonna notice dogs barking, then people whistling, and then everything else, because they do this on purpose. So all the spotters, see all these houses south of us? All these 2-story and 3-story houses that are up on the hill? That's Mexico, right? So that's the fence line, that's Mexico. I'm Art del Cueto, of course, out here on the southern border. This is an area that's been notorious for years now with human smuggling and drug smuggling. What we see just south of us on this fence line is Nogales, Sonora, which is a part of Mexico. That fence was built prior to even the Trump administration, his first administration. But what he did do is he added some of the Constantine wire to try to prevent, more groups that are coming in. But it's still notorious for groups coming in. As you can see, Mexico has the high ground. So when you see all those houses along the mountainside, that's Mexico. What you see there is individuals that'll come out throughout the day as spotters. So they work for the cartels, they work for the different criminal organizations, and what they do is just that, spot. So they sit here and they spot how many agents are coming through the border at all times. Us being out here, it gives them a different presence, something that they're not used to. So you're gonna see the spotters come out. You can see, and it's something simple because they'll pretend that they're doing day-to-day chores outside their home. They're actually spotting. They want to see what's going on. We're out here in a different vehicle. It's something that they're not used to seeing, they haven't seen. So what they'll do is they'll sit there and they'll communicate with each other, and they'll tell them, hey, something's different. It's not just Border Patrol agents out there. There's something out of the norm.
I'm Matthew Silverman, the National President for the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. Obviously, like we said, we have Mexico right over there on the other side of the wall. Over here, we're on U.S. territory. We saw the galleys and the divots going all the way through this over here. So they would come over here in droves of 300 plus.
No, not in this area.
Okay.
It'd be further west, the east, where they would get the 300 plus. That's the distraction. These areas where you're seeing the gullies is more used and utilized by the drug cartels, but where they want to bring the drugs through, because you're not going to detect them. You're not going to know how much drugs are coming. You would know that they were getting through, but that was the frustration agents were hearing under the Biden administration. They were stuck on the other side of that mountain range, arresting 300 plus, and this was just a free-for-all for the drugs coming through. And if you did have an agent in this area that would be able to respond, it's so close to Mexico. Some of this wall right here, in some areas of the border, it serves as the back wall for the houses in Mexico.
Of course.
So they would just jump in and they'd be back in Mexico. But so what you'd see here through these areas would be more of the drugs that were coming through.
If you see something, send something. I know you thought I was gonna say something, but with the SAFERWATCH app, you can send something. Super simple. All you gotta do, open up the SAFERWATCH app, select tip, find your corresponding category, select it, type in a little description, and bam. Your tip is off to your local police department. And with the SAFERWATCH app, you can send a tip from anywhere in the United States and it will go to the correct law enforcement agency. More than 20,000 incidents have been reported using the SAFERWATCH app, which include suspicious activity, drug activity, which results in huge drug busts, online harassment, online threats, which included a threat against our United States president, which resulted in an arrest in West Palm Beach. So many reasons for you to download the SAFERWATCH app today, including real-time alerts from your local authorities, real-time incident updates, two-way communications with authorities, and as I mentioned, a place to send tips and you can remain anonymous if you'd like, and it even comes with built-in panic buttons. So what are you waiting for? So much value in this SAFERWATCH app and it's all for free. Visit your Android or Apple store to download it today and start submitting those tips.
Hey everybody, we are out here at the Border Security Expo in Phoenix, Arizona. We have the acting ICE director with us. Sir, welcome. You just killed it on stage.
I appreciate you let me have a few minutes to talk about the great work the men and women of ICE do. It's really an honor to be here.
Well, I got to thank the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. We've got Matthew Silverman, the national president of the organization. Matt FLEOA has been obviously behind this gentleman since day one. Let's dive in.
ICE has one of the biggest changes going on with our immigration and customs enforcement stuff coming down from the president. Major mandates. We saw it in the elections, right? We saw the massive wave that was coming down here, and things have changed. Times have changed. So we're seeing a lot more deportations right now. We're seeing border like we saw yesterday while we were walking the border. A lot cleaner, a lot less people out there. Things are definitely changing, and we owe a lot of it right here to ICE.
So let's talk about those changes. Day one, you guys were ready to rock and roll.
Like I say, the one great change for us is the fact the whole of government approach now. We have so much support from our other federal partners, from DOJ, FBI, ATF, Department of Defense. It's actually allowing us to go do our mission again, which the men and women of ICE signed up for. You know, we're out there focusing on the worst of the worst. We're getting these bad criminals off the street. Not only are they folks that are targeting Americans, they're in our neighborhoods, but they're also targeting the migrant community as well. You know, you have people that have fled, violence and things in their home country, and these criminal aliens are taking advantage of them as well. So I think it's really good now that ICE is being able to do their mission. You know, Homeland Security investigations, they're doing great work right now, focusing on the unaccompanied children and looking at human traffickers, human smugglers. I think right now it's a great time to be in ICE, both HSI and ERO, because the men and women are actually doing their job again.
We are out here in the beautiful state of Arizona in Casa Grande. We are just honored and privileged to have the border czar, the first, I would argue, true border czar our nation has ever seen, Tom Hallman. And we've got Matt, who's the national president of the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. I understand that you guys, you're a longtime member of FLEOA too, right?
Yep, I started FLEOA in the very beginning. And I was an agent. I was a special agent just north of Casa Grande in Phoenix. We did a lot of criminal investigations on the Casa Grande through the Indian Reservation Land Smuggling Group, so this is kind of home. This is where I started as a special agent. Of course, I started as border patrol agent in California, but as a criminal investigator, I started here. And yeah, I was a member of FLEOA for a long time.
For the first time in over 4 years now, you have the morale that is up. You have the people that know that they can do their jobs for what they are hired to do their jobs for. They have the backing of you and the administration.
I'm honored every day to wake up in the morning and working for the greatest president of my lifetime. Like or love him, you can't argue his success on the border and immigration security. President Trump did in 5 weeks what Joe Biden couldn't or wouldn't do in 4 years. Went from 1,800 gotaways a day. The other day it was 41 across the entire border.
Wow.
Now, we got more work to do, but that's the game change that Border Patrol created. And the second number I'd like, under Joe Biden administration, the first 3 months of his administration, he released 184,000 illegal aliens in the country. Border Patrol processed them, released them in the country. 184,000 in 3 months. What did Trump do in 3 months? 9.
Last April, Kyle, myself, and a camera crew, we were out in Arizona. We were out in Texas as well. Went down to Eagle Pass. We were hearing all the news media, Biden administration news media saying that Border Patrol is not allowed to be in Shelby Park, that Border Patrol is not working with the state and locals, all this stuff about divide and divide and divide. Hey, let's see what's actually going on out here. And we see Border Patrol boats dropping in the water of the Rio Grande. And we say, I just saw the news 5 minutes ago saying that they're not allowed here. Kyle and myself were trying to show the positive and the true stories of what's going on with law enforcement, not the lies that are out there that they want to persuade everybody that's happening.
Under Biden in 4 years, they've arrested over 400 people in terrorist watch that's come across on the border. 400. Under Trump's first 4 years, we had 13. So if we have 400 that got arrested, obviously they were morons because terrorists are trained how to evade law enforcement. We got 2.2 million gotaways. 2.2 million. We know our gotaways. We got on video traffic, drone traffic, sensor traffic, tracked by the Border Patrol. 2.2 million people paid more to get away. Cartels will charge you a much higher fee to evade law enforcement and get to your final destination. So why did 2.2 million people pay more to get away? So it's important now that we go look for these people and remove them. President Trump committed the massive biggest deportation operation in the history of the nation. However, we're going to prioritize public safety threats and national security threats. That's exactly what we're doing. They didn't care about vetting of these millions coming across. Vetting was never an issue for them then, but all of a sudden now they want to vet every deportation. It's ridiculous. What we're doing is removing terrorists from this country every day. And it's remarkable that any judge would order you to return terrorists to this country. It's remarkable that the media don't want to talk about this.
Now guys, years ago, I asked these two gentlemen, among other law enforcement leaders across the country, to join our board of advisors to help law enforcement today to properly and accurately tell the stories of what's happening on the border. And so we've come out here for years to show the true border crisis. So we came out with you, God, this was under President Trump's first term we came out of here last.
Multiple times. That's why it's hard to remember. You've been out many times. You've been out here.
Way more than Kamala.
Yes, I will say that.
And one of the things that we saw was day one that Biden came into office, everything stopped, man. All of the construction, the walls, the enforcement, everything came to a grinding halt. So let's summarize what you've seen here in the last 8 years.
And let me say this, not only did it stop, they started selling everything that was paid for with taxpayer dollars.
At a very good price.
At a very good price.
Let's be honest. No, what you're seeing, obviously, during the Biden administration, it was complete chaos, right? It was a free-for-all. The drug cartels knew it. The smuggling organizations knew it. They knew that they could work together, have individuals come into the US, claim asylum, it would preoccupy agents, and then other drugs would come across. Now, again, under the Trump administration one more time, he's put the right leadership in place. Not only, with Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, but he's put the right chief in place in the Border Patrol with Chief Banks. He's been able to get the right individuals in the right positions in order to stop the madness, I'd like to say, because what have you seen? You've seen the numbers drop. The policies didn't really change. The immigration laws didn't change. The rhetoric changed. We said, look, from now on, coming into the United States, you're gonna have to prove your asylum claim or you're not gonna get released. So what did that cause? That caused everyone to stop coming across and just claiming asylum because the free-for-all is no longer there. We have a secure border now, which created that domino effect where now you can have agents that were stuck in processing centers outside of that center actually arresting individuals that are bringing drugs into the country, detaining individuals that are coming across. The catch and release is over. That's what it took.
Well, let's thank one more person though, because with all that and Tom Homan doing a great job and Kristi Noem out there doing a great job, watching her interviews, absolutely love seeing her speak up for America, right? We had too many people that weren't willing to speak up and say the things that this administration is willing to do right now. But we have to give props out right now to AG Bondi, because without having our Department of Justice, our Attorney General that's gonna be there with the president, because I'm not knocking anything with the old administration like that. We have a president now that wants something. Now we have an Attorney General who wants it, who is posting that to all of our assistant United States attorneys all over the country. This country knows what the marching orders are, and they're taking note of that. Mexico, right over here, they're taking note of that, and every country's taking note of it.
You got law enforcement doing what they wanted to do the whole time, is law enforcement. And it's crazy because, I represent the union, of course, but it's weird because most unions, they don't want to do their job, right? And I'm not trying to knock on other unions, but here we had the National Border Patrol Council, the agents. What were they asking for as a union? They wanted to do their job. They wanted to patrol the border. They wanted to come out here and arrest individuals that were coming into the country.
Back in December, Matt and I went down and we sat down with Tom Homan, and he was just so ecstatic because he said, we're finally going to be able to fix the problem. We're finally going to be able to safeguard our country the way that the brave men and women who are on the border every single day have been desperate to do for years. That man's heart is in this 1,000%. He didn't need a job. The pay cut that he took to come work is absolutely mind-blowing. The threats that his family faced, the threats that all of these leaders who are working in this administration are facing right now, it's mind-blowing. And so this is where we just ask you guys to also understand that what you are seeing in the mainstream media is often only a tiny fraction of the story. That is why we exist at Law Enforcement Today, to bring you the truth, because as Elon Musk put it best, X and social media and this digital sphere right now, we are now the media. And so thank you all for sharing this story. Thank you for continuing to pray for the men and women who support and serve our communities every single day.